What is like the best way just legally streaming, paying for the services? Is that the best way? In your opinion?
I've heard that the DVDs, Blu-ray DVDs, for example, and
yeah,
in
they are
Japan, I'm not
expensive.
sure about the US, but in Japan, buying the Blu-ray DVDs is the best way.
Yeah.
Because that's when they know. Like,
Yeah, because
I
they
should-
measure success from Blu-ray sales, right? That's normally how it's
that
done.
and like the original sources sale.
Yeah, like
what
the
I've
manga.
heard.
Oh, so
I
the
see,
manga
I
and
see.
stuff like that.
That's what I've heard.
yeah.
Because I always try to make sure I buy my manga firsthand now. Like
Yeah.
even if it's like an older series where I can easily go to like a book off or something and buy it for 100
Yeah.
yen. Like I always just try and go to the bookstore,
Yeah.
the first-hand bookstore, because like I've heard that is truly the best way to support the
Yes.
creator,
Yeah.
right?
I guess because when it's pre-owned, right? Like
The royalties don't go.
Yeah, right. 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, like 2/3 of my JoJo merch is like pre-owned stuff.
That's because it's like
You can't get that
yeah,
stuff
you can't
anymore.
Get them.
Yeah.
Because for some reason
It wasn't made for you. It wasn't
Yeah.
available at the time.
You don't deserve. You don't deserve it. I deserve all the JoJo merch. Like I don't know. Like I've spent thousands of dollars on like Yahoo Auction, right? That none of that goes
Yeah.
to like because a lot of the time as well, like this merch is like what like $100, and then 2 years later on Yahoo Auction it's $300, and someone made a nice profit. I mean, good for
Yeah,
them.
Iraqi's definitely not seeing that profit. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, the only thing that I've bought that's like brand new is probably the Jump Store stuff that we both bought. Like, because the JoJo Exhibition
the
Museum
exhibition,
was
yeah.
cancelled, and normally you have to go to the JoJo Exhibition to get the stuff, but they were like, hey, you can just order it online. So I ordered
Got
like
the suits.
the suits as well. I got
Glam
but,
shirts.
but the thing is with the suits, right? That's Bandai collaboration with Perfect Suit Factory.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like two companies that are making this thing before.
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
gets
they're
to the
taking
creators.
most of it, right?
So like
Yeah.
these $500 suits, how many of that goes to like Shonen Jump, and then are like the animators aren't seeing that shit, right? The animators are still underpaid as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything
Well,
we
they're
can do for.
underpaid because it's just
Yeah.
Japan's salary, the average salary in
Yeah,
general.
Yeah.
Mike.
Man,
The
Mike
average
is taking a
salary
beating.
Yeah.
is, like in general is low.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I feel like with animators, it's a like systematic problem with how the industry works as a whole.
That's
rather
a
than,
whole
like-
other can of
That's
worms.
that's a whole other can of
You could
worms.
argue that's also just like Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different argument to be had. But I think one thing I see with a lot of like Western Twitter and Western people is that I feel like they don't want to support the industry, mostly because they're not happy with like some of these bigger companies or like the image of like say Crunchyroll or Funimation, and it's less of I don't want to support the industry and more of I don't want to support these companies in particular.
Yeah, you don't want to support the companies that are representing the industry in the country, right?
I can understand it at times because there's a lot of arguments that people make, like underpaying translators. That comes
Yeah.
up a lot, and like last year, like it was like voice actor apocalypse with Funimation. Like there's a lot of reasons why people might not want to, right? And it's tough because it's
It's because I don't think there's a right or wrong
Yeah.
argument, but what I feel sometimes is that a lot of people won't support the industry unless there's like a perfect system where all the money they go to goes to this one creator. Like they wanna
like a utopian system.
like
where,
like a utopian system where like every creator has a fucking Patreon or something and they can support any creator they want and how much they want, and that's just not a business model, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people use that justification to say, hey, we're not supporting the creator how I want to support the creator, so I'm just not going to support anything. And I feel like there must be a better way to go about it than that, because there's never going to be a perfect system.
Trigger kind of did the right thing, right? Like they have a Patreon, they have a Twitch stream where they do live
Patreon
draws.
get?
I'm not too sure,
I
but
think I checked and I was like that is nowhere near enough to.
oh no, definitely
No,
not.
it's not.
It's basically just like a side revenue for them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at least it's a way that will actually go directly to the studio.
True.
And is a payment method or a donation method that Westerners are very familiar with, right? So
I think it's good to have just an option to do something like that. It's like, hey, do you
Yeah.
want to directly support the studio and like
Pixiv has that. No, it's not a studio, but like there are some illustrators.
oh yeah,
Right,
Pixiv
right,
kind of
right.
has that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, that's really the only thing, and barely anybody's utilizing it, right? Like I've never heard of a manga artist using Patreon. Right?
Is it
Yeah.
like do you reckon there's like a pride thing in Japan, like not wanting to ask people for money? Because like begging is really like not a thing here.
That I
like,
don't know.
I mean, culturally, yeah, begging's not
begging
even a
is,
thing.
like,
Yeah.
frowned
Like
upon.
not even homeless people.
Yeah,
beg
you don't see. Yeah, homeless people like just do their own thing.
Yeah.
like that. Just like all right, fuck
It's
you.
true. I've never seen a
Yeah,
homeless
right?
person beg.
Yeah,
No,
no, because
it's not a
really
thing.
disrespectful.
Yeah, it's
right?
not a
Like,
thing
yeah.
here. Like, They're so even the homeless here are respectful, where they're just like, no, keep your money.
Yeah, they're like, I'm homeless. I still have my pride.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's just a different culture.
There's a lot of it that comes down to that, though. I think in the industry and how people want it to change, and it's just not going to.
I also think a really big root of the problem when it comes to at least the anime industry is that they truly, even though in my experience, having done stuff with a lot of different studios and productions and whatnot in anime, they're aware of the Western industry. They just don't really give a shit about them.
Yeah,
I would say they care a
they
lot. They
care.
just don't know how.
It's
what
not
to
their
do.
first priority though.
Yeah.
Their first priority is always the Japanese market, right? And that's how they measure their success. I mean, of course, I'm sure all of these studios now, it's 2020, right? Like, I think most of them are aware now that there are way more Western fans who are into their anime than there will ever be Japanese fans, right?
I mean, China alone, right?
Or just Southeast Asia. Even
all the mobile games coming out for China.
Yeah.
Even if you just look at Southeast Asia, right? That's more people just in general who will watch the anime and enjoy the anime and be willing to spend the money on it. But because the Japanese anime industry is a lot of it is so old-fashioned and, thinking just locally, that they're just like, okay, we understand that there are all these people out here who are probably willing to pay for our stuff.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to do it.
think
And we can't be
that's-
bothered to figure out how to do it.
I mean,
It's
They
Japanese
do it
culture in general,
wrong.
though, isn't it?
yeah, it's just like, for example, the DVD and Blu-ray business model is just not going to work abroad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can prop up the anime industry here in Japan, and it has for like the longest time. But it took them like how many years to figure out that people just don't want to buy DVD and
That's
Blu-rays.
like if Crunchyroll was like, we're going to open up a Blockbuster tomorrow. Come on in and rent your DVDs. It's like, no, it's not. It's shocking how many people in Japan do not know streaming services.
Yeah.
Like even young people are not aware. They're like, oh, you can watch anime on Netflix? What?
They usually record it on their TV, like when it's
When it's playing on
live.
TV,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's like,
Record
I'm not
it.
staying up till 3 a.m. to watch a fucking Rent a Girlfriend episode.
I've
I'm
never
sorry.
seen a place where they like sell CRT TVs so much. Like, why? Like, there's CRT. I mean, Smash players probably like, yes. But like, everyone else is like, why the fuck would I need a CRTV? Like,
Yeah.
I
there's
don't even know
so
what a
many.
CRTV
Those
is.
big fucking chunky ones
The
with
brick
static.
TVs.
Like, I see so many of them for
The
sale.
TV
still.
that you grew up with, like the giant, like the fucking
Oh,
brick
thick.
of a TV, the thick boys.
Okay.
I was in Akihabara, and it was like a brand new electronics store. There was like LCD, like thin TVs, and there's a whole section for CRT
Yeah.
TVs. And I'm like, who the fuck is buying this?
Retro.
Genuinely, who the
Retro.
fuck is buying CRT TVs?
No, because, like,
except for Smash Play.
Yeah, except for
But like